The Dingoes Got My Baby. On August 17, 1980, this was one of Australia's most talked about missing person cases. On August 17, 1980, was a day in history with a cry of the dingoes got my baby. A 2-month-old baby named Azaria Chamberlain went missing from a tent in a campground near Uluru in the Northern Territory. Basta mabilis siyang pinopronounce, or NT, Northern Territory. It was a famous cry from a mother, Lindy Chamberlain. My God, the dingoes got my baby. Nakita niya yung dingo na palabas ng kanilang family tent, and she discovered na her baby daughter, Azaria, was not in her bassinet at around 8 p.m. This is such a sad case of a baby and her parents. On June 11, 1980, Lindy and Michael Chamberlain welcomed their first daughter. The couple already had 2 sons, Aiden, who was born in 1973, and Reagan, who was born in 1975. But they desperately wanted a little baby girl. And yung dream nila na magkaroon ng little baby girl came true when Azaria Chantel Lauren Chamberlain was born. Lindy was born in New Zealand before siya nag-moved sa Australia before her 2nd birthday. And she married Seventh-day Adventist church pastor Michael Chamberlain. And coincidentally, Lindy's father was also a pastor, and another coincidence, Michael was also born in New Zealand. It was like a match made in heaven, sabi nga. Lindy and Michael moved to Tasmania after they got married. So yung Tasmania, medyo nakahiwalay siya doon sa continent, kumbaga, ng Australia, kasi medyo nasa bottom part siya because of Michael's work, which often required na mag-moved around siya or moved a lot of the country. Tasmania is where they had their first son, Aiden. After nun, nag-move ulit sila sa Queensland, which is where their second son, Reagan, was born. So the Chamberlains eventually settled in Mount Isa in Queensland. And this is where Azaria was born in 1980. 9 weeks after na maipanganak si Azaria, in the middle of August, the Chamberlains are heading off on their first holiday as a family of 5. And it was a road trip, and they will be starting in the Northern Territory. On August 13, the Chamberlains were all packed in their bright yellow hatchback na car. It was a classic 1970s car. The family packed. Syempre, inimpake din nila yung kanilang mga camping equipment, and they head off towards their first stop, which was Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, which is about a 14-hour drive from where they are staying or where they are living. That's according to Google Maps. And I believe familiar naman kayo sa Uluru because very popular siya sa Australia. Para siyang isang malaking bato, kulay pula. Para siyang bundok, kumbaga, in the middle of Australia. And it took the Chamberlains 3 days to reach Uluru, arriving to their campsite. Medyo late na silang nakarating on the 16th of August. Ang plano ng pamilya Chamberlain was to stay doon sa campsite for 3 days before sila mag-drive ulit papunta sa Darwin. Although Darwin is in the same state as Uluru, it will take them about 20 hours. Biruin nyo yun, sobrang laki ng Australia kasi same state lang pero 20 hours mo siyang ida-drive. So medyo malayo. So dahil nga gabi nang nakarating yung mga Chamberlains doon sa kanilang campsite, Lindy and Michael just set up their tents and they settled with their kids for the night. This campsite, if I'll be able to find a photo, ilalagay ko sa screen. Itong campsite na kung saan nagstay yung Chamberlains was right next to Uluru, as in katabing-katabi lang. Hindi naman dikit na dikit, of course may pagitan, pero sobrang lapit lang nila sa Uluru. The next day, which was the 17th, Aidan, who was now 6, and Reagan, who was 4, go with Michael to climb parts of Uluru, while Lindy and Azaria do a little bit of their own exploring at a place called Fertility Cave. And this is where Lindy first spots some dingoes. And she would later say that she felt na yung mga dingoes na yon was leering at Azaria. Kumbaga parang minamanmanan or binabantayan nila si Azaria, and that made Lindy felt incredibly uneasy around the dingoes. Hindi ako sure kung knowledgeable ba yung mga tourists or si Lindy mismo about sa mga dingoes, pero ang sabi, yung mga dingoes daw are like dogs, but wild dogs. And they are mostly found in outback locations in Australia. And dingoes look just like your average cute, friendly neighborhood dog. But they are not. May mga rules daw na kailangan mong gawin kapag naka-encounter ka ng mga dingoes. Number 1, wag na wag mo silang hahawakan. Number 2, wag mo silang ipat. Kumbaga yung hahawakan mo sila sa ulo, katulad ng ginagawa natin sa mga aso natin. And number 3, ang wag na gagawin daw was to feed them. Because ang sabi ng mga Australians, ng mga experts, if you ignore the dingoes, they will pretty much ignore you. Pero, the moment na pinakain mo sila, and maramdaman nila na komportable na sila around humans, that's when a dingo attack can happen. And ang sabi pa, a dingo can kill a human. And if ever na maka-encounter ka daw ng dingo, ang gagawin mo lang ay cross your arms on your chest and start walking backwards and call for help. Parang kasi pag nag-cross ka ng arms, magmumukha ka daw mas malaki kaysa sa dingo. Pero syempre pag tumayo yung mga dingo, malamang parang matangkad din sila. Especially kung petite ka like me, malamang-lamang mas matangkad sa yung dingo kapag ka tumayo yun. So kailangan mong i-cross yung arms mo on your chest para lang mapakita sa kanila na mas malaki ka. You are authoritative, parang ganyan. And slowly walk backwards, standing tall with your arms crossed. Wag na wag ka daw tatakbo, and wag na wag mo silang tatalikuran or maglalakad ka nang nakatalikod ka sa kanila. Of course, hindi mo alam, baka bigla kang sunggaban, di ba? So, kailangan dahan-dahan, patalikod kang maglalakad para nakikita mo kung nasaan sila. Well, wala namang dingo dito sa atin, but you'll never know, di ba? Mali nyo, makapag-travel kayo sa Australia and makakita kayo ng dingo. Akalain nyo aso, hindi pala. Di ba? A few bits of information regarding sa mga dingoes. Ang sabi, Michael Chamberlain had been feeding the dingoes. Michael was feeding them bread crust, which Lindy actually discouraged him from doing, telling him na Michael was only encouraging the dingoes to stick around and maglure nga around them. And she was right. Pero hindi naman niya sinisisi si Michael, but it was a common practice daw ng mga tourists or ng mga locals doon na i-feed yung dingoes doon sa campsite. Pero may mga posters na inilagay doon sa campsite discouraging tourists to feed the dingoes. Kasi kapag yung mga dingoes nasanay sila na yung food source nila ay galing sa mga tao and suddenly ititigil mo, the dingoes can become even more aggressive. So dapat in the first place, hindi na talaga finifeed ng humans yung dingo. Kasi nga pag nasanay sila, diba? So lagi na silang lalapit, and pag lumapit sila, ang ine-expect nila, bibigyan sila ng pagkain. And pag wala ka na ibinigay, and suddenly nga sinabi nga dun sa mga poster na, please, wag nyo na pong i-feed yung mga dingoes. So, pwede silang maging aggressive. And, in fact, just 2 months previously, before nga nung nangyari kay Azaria, a 3-year-old girl had been dragged from her family's car by a dingo. But luckily, her parents quickly saw what happened, so nag-intervene sila, and thankfully the 3-year-old girl was saved. And ang sabi pa, 2 years previous, the Uluru Chief Ranger had warned of a possible fatal dingo attack. The Chief Ranger's name was Derek Roth. Sinabi nga niya yung possibility ng fatal dingo attack, pero he was ignored. Allegedly, he was ignored. But it seems like tourists were not really adequately warned of the dangers of dingoes to keep the tourist numbers up. And a number of people at the campsite at the time the Chamberlains were there, may mga tao doon sa campsite noong time na nandun yung mga Chamberlains na sinabi nila na nakita din nila yung mga dingoes na naglo-lurk around doon sa campsite, following people carrying food and just like simply watching them. So it was clearly an issue. And unfortunately, what happened next was a tragic incident. On the evening of the 17th of August, at around 6 p.m., after a long and exhausting day of exploring, the Chamberlains put their younger son, Reagan, to bed sa loob ng tent. And Michael, Lindy, Aidan, and baby Azaria gathered around a campfire with other families na nagstay doon sa campsite. And yung family, nagluto sila ng barbecue, nagkwentuhan sila, they all got to know each other, and they became friendly. And in particular, si Lindy at si Michael, naging ka-close nila yung isa pang couple na nandoon sa campsite with their baby daughter. Yung pangalan ng mag-asawa ay si Greg at si Sally Lowe. Ang sabi ng mag-asawa, dinedescribe nila na friendly daw at likable si Michael at saka si Lindy. And just like your average family. At around 8 p.m., sinabi ni Lindy na it's time to put baby Azaria to bed. So pumunta siya sa tent kung nasaan natutulog na si Reagan, and Aidan followed his mom to the tent. Pero he decided to stay up a little longer because medyo gutom pa yung panganay niya na si Aidan. Baby Azaria was put in her cot and she was wearing a singlet, a nappy, a white jumpsuit, boots, and a yellow jacket. After nun, nakita daw ni Greg si Lindy at si Aidan na papunta doon sa kanilang car to get some baked beans. Kasi ang gutom pa si Aidan. After 15 minutes na nailagay na ni Lindy si Azaria, si baby Azaria doon sa tent, Lindy and Aidan returned to the campfire, and after nun, Lindy and Michael hear Azaria scream, like baby scream, umiiyak, parang ganon. And Sally, yung isa sa mga couple na nandoon sa campsite, also hears the cries or the scream of baby Azaria. And the scream was described as short and sharp. Wala namang ibang way kasi yung mga baby, diba? To express kung ano yung gusto nilang gawin, kundi umayak lang sila. And then the cry suddenly cut off. And ito yung iyak ng baby, indicating na something was wrong other than gutom sila or basa yung diaper nila. So Lindy immediately get up to see what's going on. And as she was walking papunta doon sa tent, may nakita siyang dingo emerging from the tent with one of Michael's shoes in its mouth. Galing yung dingo sa loob ng tent. Hindi ko alam kung bakit iniwan ni Lindy na bukas yung tent, or nakalimutan siguro niya, or baka the dingo found a way para makapasok doon sa loob ng tent ng mga Chamberlain. So yun nga, nakita ni Lindy na palabas itong dingo, dala-dala yung sapatos ng asawa niya. And sabi ni Lindy, iniwan niyang bukas yung zipper ng tent because sobrang lapit lang naman nung campfire doon sa tent. Not realizing that there was any danger, and she started to sprint towards doon sa tent. Kasi nga, nag-aalala siya para sa dalawang anak niya na nandoon sa loob ng tent. Yung kanyang second son na si Reagan and si baby Azaria. So Lindy goes inside the tent and she began to frantically search for Azaria. Hinila niya yung kumot doon sa cot ni Azaria, and Lindy didn't find baby Azaria. Chinek din niya si Reagan and he is okay. And sinabi ni Lindy na nakita din daw ni Reagan yung dingo and he was scared and frozen with fear. So Reagan decided to play dead, parang ganon, para hindi na siya lapitan ng dingo kasi nga takot siya. At this point, tumakbo si Lindy papunta sa campsite, and doon nga niya sinigaw yung famous line na yon na, my God, a dingo's got my baby." And nagtanong siya kung sino sa mga tao doon yung may torch, and hundreds of people joined the search sa Uluru that night, including yung mga local Aboriginal trackers and the local police. Of course, the police was also informed. And yun nga, dumating yung mga police doon and examine yung scene, and Lindy told the police what happened, na tinangay nga ng dingo yung kanyang baby. I'm not really sure, parang wala namang sinabi na as in nakita talaga ni Lindy na tangay-tangay nung dingo yung baby niya, kasi yung nakita lang naman niya ay isang dingo na lumabas mula dun sa tent at ang dala ay sapatos. So, dahil doon sa pangyayari na yon, inisip ni Lindy na malamang before yung dingo na yun na may dalang sapatos ay may iba pang dingo na nakapasok sa loob ng tent at kinuha nga si baby Azaria. Because hindi pa naman nakakalakad ang isang 2-month-old na baby, diba? So walang way or there's no other way na mawawala doon yung baby, pwera na lang kung may iba pang tao na kumuha sa kanya. So in-examine nga ng mga police yung campsite, and may nakita nga yung mga police na dingo or dog tracks inside and around the tent. And meron ding fair amount of blood and dog hair were also found in the tent. Pero wala namang daw aso talaga doon sa campsite. So, yung nakita na hair was allegedly ay sa dingo daw talaga nang galing. The Aboriginal trackers also made several discoveries. Kasi sinundan nila yung dingo tracks and they found drag marks followed by 2 separate shallow impressions in the sand. And yung mga imprint daw, it appeared to be that of a knitted garment and a third darker patch of sand. And itong patch na to was thought to be blood. Of course, itong unusual na pangyayari na to, na a story of a dingo taking a baby, quickly made headlines across Australia. Pero kahit gaano pa ka-extensive yung search na ginawa ng mga police, ng mga Aboriginal trackers, ng mga tao doon sa campsite, baby Azaria was never located. 1 week later, on August 24, a tourist from Melbourne was exploring Uluru, and he came across a small, bloody baby's jumpsuit. And he immediately knew na yung jumpsuit na yun ay kay baby Azaria. And he contacted the authorities. Kasi nga syempre sobrang laking balita nga nung nangyari kay baby Azaria na kinuha siya ng mga dingo. So alam ng mga locals doon, alam ng mga turista yung nangyari. Yung discovery ng jumpsuit ni baby Azaria was found about 4 kilometers from the campsite. And kasama doon sa jumpsuit ni Azaria ay isang nappy and booties. Pero yung jacket na suot ni Azaria, according to Lindy, was never found. Yung kondisyon ng jumpsuit na nakita ng tourist became one of the most talking points of the investigation. And of course, one of the key pieces of evidence. I'll insert a photo of the jumpsuit. Black and white naman to, so hindi ganun ka graphic. Basically, yung jumpsuit daw ay merong allegedly stains of blood around the neck area. It was dirty, of course, and merong tears everywhere. Not really everywhere, basta may mga punit-punit siya, may mga sira siya. And besides doon, the jumpsuit was in good condition considering yung sinasabi na dinrag nga si Azaria. Maybe doon sa jumpsuit niya, dinrag siya ng dingo. So, dapat medyo malalaki yung wasak yun ang ina-expect ng mga pulis, na hindi lang ganung maliliit na butas or sira doon sa jumpsuit na suot-suot ni Azaria nung night na yon. Dahil doon, it really confused the investigators and made them question the Chamberlain's story. Kasi nga, kung kinuha ng dingo si Azaria and was eaten, kumbaga, paanong yung jumpsuit ay buo pa din? Actually, buo pa rin siya. May punit lang siya sa leeg and sa ibang parte, pero buo pa rin yung jumpsuit. And we're talking about wild dingoes here. After all, hindi naman mahuhubad ng dingo ng dahan-dahan yung jumpsuit ng baby, diba? Before sila umatake. It didn't make sense to a lot of people. So later, babalikan natin yung nangyari sa jumpsuit ni Azaria. So, mag-skip na tayo after several months na ito. Nung nakabalik na yung Chamberlains sa Mount Isa, may chismis, mga chismosa talaga. A vicious rumors started to swirl in their local community. So may kumalat na chismis about dun sa mag-asawa, hindi lang dun sa local community nila, kung hindi sa media. And the public opinion was split at this time. May mga naniniwala na yung Chamberlains were innocent victims, and may iba naman na naniniwala na yung story about sa dingo was completely made up or gawa-gawa lang. May mga rumors na nagsabi allegedly that the Chamberlains sacrificed baby Azaria as part of a religious ritual, and this was just the beginning of this awful chismis about doon sa mag-asawa. And after nun, an inquest about Azaria's disappearance and presumed death began in Darwin. And finally, magkakaroon na ng chance yung mga Chamberlains to once and for all clear their name about doon sa rumors na kumakalat na sila yung may kasalanan and hindi totoong kinuha ng dingo si baby Azaria. And in February 1981, Coroner Dennis Barrett concluded that it was indeed a dingo that had taken Azaria and that she died as a result. However, Northern Territory Police as well as the NT Northern Territory Supreme Court were not satisfied with these findings because dingoes eating babies was kind of bad for Northern Territories tourism. Nakakaloka. So, in September of the same year, 1981, based on new evidence, the Chamberlain's home was raided. Ni-raid siya for 4.5 hours with over 300 items being confiscated, kasama na yung kanilang sasakyan. Itong new evidence na to came from a British forensic scientist named James Cameron. This scientist examined the jumpsuit and concluded that baby Azaria had not died as a result of a dingo attack. Kasi ang sabi niya, yung mga tears daw doon sa jumpsuit were most likely from a pair of scissors. Galing sa gunting, ginupit siya. Hindi siya galing sa ngipin ng dingo. This conclusion was kind of quote-unquote backed up by a pair of scissors na na-confiscate ng mga pulis sa bahay ng mga Chamberlains and that supposedly had blood on them dun sa gunting. And yung kanilang sasakyan was confiscated and examined. A forensic report on the findings of this examination of their car eventually came back and claimed the following: blood stains doon sa front seat ng sasakyan, sa passenger seat hinge, doon sa floor under ng carpet, and sa underside of the dashboard where they had found a spray of blood. May kinonfiscate din sila na camera bag which also contained some of the stains. And yung mga stains na yon was allegedly lang na they thought, the police and the investigators thought na blood yung mga stains na yon. And itong mga stains na to was of course tested and came back positive for containing something called fetal hemoglobin. Meron palang ganun. Akala ko pag dugo, hemoglobin lang. Pero, madedetermine pala kung yung hemoglobin na yun or yung blood na yun was from an adult or galing sa baby. So, in this case, fetal hemoglobin yung nakita. So, they thought, or the investigators thought na yung blood na yun was from baby Azaria. So, ang sabi ng mga authorities, yung fetal hemoglobin daw is a protein found in babies under 6 months old. However, so yung fetal hemoglobin was also known to show up in other random things such as sa mga adults, sa nose, mucus, alam nyo na yun, yung nagagaling sa ilong. So kung si Azaria ay humatching sa loob ng sasakyan nila, malamang-lamang magkakaroon nga or magli-leave ng traces of fetal hemoglobin doon sa loob. And ito medyo strange, pero pwede rin daw makakita ng fetal hemoglobin sa chocolate milkshake. Hindi ko alam kung paano nangyari yun, pero ayun lang yung nabasa ko sa article. So, as a result of the blood evidence and the evidence from the forensic scientist, which was James Cameron, the first inquest findings. So dahil nga dun sa result ng blood evidence at nung evidence ni James Cameron, which was the forensic scientist, so yung first inquest was rejected and a second inquest was ordered as a result. Yung second inquest was held in February 1982. And Lindy Chamberlain was charged with the murder of her daughter Azaria. And Michael Chamberlain was charged with being an accessory to the crime. After nga na masintensyahan yung mag-asawa, yung gobyerno ng Northern Territory gave Lindy an option na she could either admit yung guilt na yun nga ginawa nga niya, siya yung may kasalanan sa nangyari kay baby Azaria and walk free, or continue to protest her innocence and go to trial with a high chance of ending up in jail for the rest of her life. However, yung mag-asawa, sinabi nila na no, innocent sila, and hindi sila aamin doon sa crime because hindi naman nila ginawa. Ang nakakaloka pa sa gobyerno ng Northern Territory, the fact na nagbigay sila ng option kay Lindy na aminin yung crime kahit na hindi nila ginawa just to walk free proves that Lindy had obviously embarrassed the Northern Territory and caused damage to tourism. Ayaw lang talaga ng Northern Territory government na makonsider yung mga dingo na responsible doon sa nangyari kay Baby Azaria kasi nga maapektuhan yung kanilang tourism. O, di ba nakakaloka? Papaaminin nila yung nanay na, o sige, ganito, aminin mo na lang na ikaw yung gumawa pero hindi ka makukulong para lang hindi ma-damage yung tourism ng kanilang state, kumbaga, at hindi masisi yung dingo. And if ever nga na totoo na ginawa nga ni Lindy yung ginawa niya, no matter what the cost, the Northern Territory government rather want the public believe they had let a baby killer walk free than the public to believe that a dingo had killed a baby. Dahil lang sa turismo. Nakakaloka yun. So, noong September 13, 1982, a trial by jury began in Darwin. And at this point, Lindy was heavily pregnant with her fourth child. During the trial ni Lindy, they outlined their own theory based on evidence as to what happened to Baby Azaria in August 1980. So during the trial, yung Minister of Justice nila sa Australia outlined their own theory based on evidence as to what happened to Baby Azaria in August 1980. So yung theory was Lindy left the campfire for 15 minutes to put Azaria to bed. But instead of taking her to the tent, she took Baby Azaria to the car, and in the car, allegedly, she sat on the passenger seat. This was just a theory from the Minister of Justice. So, umupo sa passenger seat si Lindy and she cut Azaria's throat with a sharp object like scissors and stuffed her body in a large camera bag. Kasi si Michael was a big photography enthusiast, which is why meron siyang malaking camera bag. Keep in mind na at this time, sumunod si Aidan kay Lindy sa loob ng tent. So somehow, Lindy needed to get rid of Aidan. But Greg Lowe had witnessed Lindy, Baby Azaria, and Aidan walking to the tent. And then, minutes later, walking without Azaria to their car. The Minister of Justice also claims that at some point, Lindy told Michael kung ano yung ginawa niya. And Michael was apparently cool with the knowledge that his wife had just killed his newborn baby daughter and that they both pretended to hear Azaria cry. After Lindy returned to the campsite and fed Aidan, even though Sally Lowe had also heard baby Azaria's cry. The campers doon sa campsite that night also attested to the fact that they believe that Chamberlains were innocent. In fact, every person na question that was there in the campsite that night claimed the Chamberlains had not been acting strange or suspicious. Again, I want to reiterate na lahat ng tao sa campsite believed na inosente yung mag-asawa. And on top of that, walang kahit na sino sa kanila ang nakakita ng dugo kay Lindy after niyang bumalik galing sa tent papunta doon sa campfire. After niyang ilagay si baby Azaria sa kanyang cot, which is remarkable considering na Lindy allegedly apparently just slit a child's throat. In the court, the Minister of Justice called the dingo theory a fanciful lie, calculated to conceal the truth. So para mag-work itong theory ng Minister of Justice, Lindy somehow smuggled her daughter to their car, kill her, clean herself up and the crime scene, and then set up this alternative crime scene inside their tent, all in 15 minutes without anybody noticing. And then there's baby Azaria's body, which the Minister of Justice alleges that she buried later that night while everybody was out searching. Hundreds of people, I must say, yung nag-search for Azaria that night. Kung nangyari nga yun, napakalakas ng loob ni Lindy na gawin ang lahat ng yun. The fact na hundreds of people ang pwedeng makakita sa kanya habang binabury niya yung body ni baby Azaria, allegedly. Diba? Lastly, doon sa theories ng Minister of Justice na yung clothing daw ni Azaria, which again, the Minister of Justice claims, Lindy had put little cuts with the scissors that she used to cut baby Azaria's throat, rubbed the jumpsuit and the clothing in the dirt, and disposed of them to make it all look like a dingo attack. Pero yung motibo ng Chamberlains was never presented by all accounts. Maraming theories yung Minister of Justice, pero never nilang binanggit kung ano yung iniisip nila na motibo ng mag-asawa, kung bakit gagawin ni Lindy yun sa sarili niyang anak. Remember, baby Azaria was only 2 months old. As I've said earlier, the Chamberlains wanted a baby girl kasi may dalawa na silang anak na lalaki. So, baby Azaria was very much wanted and nurtured baby. And yung theory ng Minister of Justice left a lot of unanswered questions. Now, pag-usapan naman natin yung mga evidence na present doon sa trial ng mga Chamberlains. The experts who examined the jumpsuit said that they found no trace of animal saliva and no drag marks that would be consistent with a dingo dragging a baby. And Lindy's response to this was that this was because Azaria was wearing a matinee jacket covering her jumpsuit, but unfortunately, this jacket had not been located at that time. Because of this, the Minister of Justice claimed that such a jacket had never even existed. Other experts also agreed with forensic scientist James Cameron na yung mga tears at mga sira doon sa jumpsuit had been cut with a sharp instrument. And a biologist, Dr. Andrew Scott, claimed in court na yung mga blood marks around doon sa neck nung jumpsuit flowed down, indicating that Azaria's throat had been cut, and the blood evidence from their car was also presented and described by the Minister of Justice as being washed with blood, when in fact, there was only about a teaspoon, isang kutsarita lang, yung nakuha na total noong blood na yon doon sa vehicle that may not even be blood. Chamberlain's defense team had no access to any of this evidence, just a side note, and they were not allowed to do any of their own testing, which really screwed them over. And to the jury, it made them look like they had something to hide. And also, James Cameron presented an ultraviolet fluorescent photograph of Azaria's jumpsuit, where he pointed out and showed a small bloody handprint. He also stated, quote, "There was an incised wound around the neck of the jumpsuit. In other words, a cut throat." Another thing na worth noting in this case is the way a lot of the scientific evidence was presented to the jury. It was very technically worded and a bit confusing. The jury would later state that they didn't really understand a lot of the evidence that was being presented to them. Sobrang daming technicalities ng mga evidences na to, and hindi ko masyado ding nagigets yung mga technical terms. So, maglalagay ako ng mga sources ko in the description box below if you want to, read all the technicalities of this case. Please do so. Makikita nyo sa description box yung mga links ng aking sources if you want to do a deep dive of your own about this case. So now, let's go to the most disputed point of this case. And it was the dingo. If a dingo was even capable of actually picking up a baby, carrying it off, removing its clothing without tearing it to shreds, and eating it. A dingo's teeth are very sharp and very strong. A dingo prey on, kill, and carry animals such as kangaroos, wallabies, koalas, rabbits, cats, etc. So, a 9-week-old baby really would be no challenge for a dingo. Kasi halos ganun din kaliit yung baby, parang kangaroo, parang koala, rabbits. So walang kahirap-hirap na makakarry ng isang dingo ang 2-month-old na baby. About naman doon sa kondisyon ng jumpsuit ni Baby Azaria, evidence was presented by Engineer Harris, who at one point had spent 10 years studying dingoes, and he showed a female dingo that was given a bundle of meat wrapped in paper, and how this dingo managed to remove the paper to get to the meat, while leaving the paper relatively intact, which honestly is a bit remarkable. On October 29, 1982, after a 33-day trial, a verdict was finally reached. Lindy Chamberlain was found guilty of murder, and Michael Chamberlain was found guilty of being an accessory to the crime. After nung verdict, maraming tao yung nagsaya, and may mga tao pa na nagsuot ng t-shirt na may nakaprint that read, "The Dingo is innocent." So having a jury was pretty much a show. One juror even told their neighbor how happy they were to be part of this jury, so they could get Lindy. As we all know, a jury is meant to be a neutral, fair, and unbiased group of people. And speaking of which, the jury was made up of 12 white Northern Territorian residents consisting of 9 men and 3 women. I don't know if we could call this fair, but their original verdict was actually a 4 guilty, 4 not guilty, and 4 undecided, before eventually all of them being swayed to vote guilty. Lindy was eventually sentenced to a life in prison, and Michael got an 18-month suspended sentence. And as I've said earlier, Lindy was heavily pregnant, and she gave birth in November 1982 in Darwin Hospital while she is still in custody. She gave birth to a second little baby girl who she named Kalia Chanel Chamberlain. But sadly, within hours of giving birth to Kalia, she was taken away from Lindy and placed into foster care. Lindy appealed her sentence over the next several years, but she was unsuccessful. So let's jump ahead a few years to 1986. Lindy has been sitting in Darwin's prison for about 3 years at this point. And Lindy was a really good prisoner. She was well behaved, got along with everyone, and supported other female inmates in the prison. Climbing Uluru is now actually banned, not because it's dangerous, but because it's considered a sacred land by the land owners. They came across an interesting item sitting just outside a dingo's lair. A little yellow matinee jacket was found just a few hundred meters from where Azaria's jumpsuit had been discovered 6 years earlier. So may isip mo na, of course, the police would immediately contact the Chamberlains and let them know about the discovery, proving that Lindy was telling the truth all along. But no, it was actually Lindy's lawyer that found out about it after receiving a tip-off that a matinee jacket had been found at Uluru. Days later, Lindy viewed the jacket and identified it as belonging to baby Azaria. Okay, so before we continue about doon sa media and public's reaction to this entire bizarre case, as well as dun sa mga bizarre rumors and theories that were spread about the Chamberlains, one of the key things that made the public believe na guilty si Lindy, aside from the unusual circumstances of Azaria's disappearance, was her attitude. She showed little to no emotion. And maybe the public expected a woman that had just lost her baby to be somewhat more frantic, emotional, siguro iyak ng iyak. Parang iba yung ine-expect nila because Lindy was calm, kumbaga. Hindi katulad ng, iba-iba naman ng reaksyon ng mga tao sa mga pangyayari sa buhay, pero iba lang siguro yung ine-expect ng public about a mother who lost their child. Pero wala namang tama o maling reaksyon when it comes to every situation. But Lindy was crucified for what was considered a cold and distant attitude. And as a result, the majority of the Australian citizens did believe that Lindy was guilty of killing her own baby. Lindy was also crucified because of her outfit. Kung ano yung sinuot niya papunta sa korte. She was being criticized for what she's wearing. Lindy wore a comfortable, strappy, fashionable dresses, but the public viewed her looks as a fashion parade for the media. And the vilification of Lindy Chamberlain has long been considered the reason why she was found guilty in court. So maybe we can call it a trial by media. Kasi 'di ba sa panahon ngayon sobrang laki ng epekto ng media, ng social media sa buhay ng mga tao, especially with this case. I mean, it was 1980s pero grabe yung uproar ng media about Lindy. Later, sinabi ni Lindy na kung ngingiti siya, she was belittling her daughter's death. Kung iiyak naman siya, she was acting. And sobrang dami pang rumors and conspiracies that was said about Chamberlain's family. From claiming that they worshipped the devil, to Lindy being a witch, and saying that they sacrificed Azaria. And yung isa sa pinag-ugatan ng mga rumors about sa mga Chamberlains was, number one, their religion. Because konti lang yung information about sa Seventh-day Adventist Church back then. Maybe, just maybe, because of ignorance, people started calling it ACULT, that sacrificed babies in rituals. May kumalat din na chismis. Yung chismis na yan talaga hindi nakakatuwa. May kumalat din na chismis na yung mga Chamberlains daw had connections with Jonestown, which had happened 2 years earlier, and the baby sacrifice rumor was fueled by the fact that a completely false rumor was started saying that the name Azaria in Hebrew meant sacrifice in the wilderness, which was absurd. When in reality, the name Azaria means God helped, or Yahweh has helped. Another rumor about the Chamberlains that they had a black-colored baby clothing, one outfit in particular, a black dress with red ribbon and matching red booties. And because of this black dress, naloka ang mga chismoso o chismosa. And ang sabi nila na itong dress daw na to na pinasuot ng mga Chamberlains kay Azaria was the devil's colors. which is absolutely nuts. May mga kulay ba talaga na ina-associate sa mga ganon? Like, paano kung favorite color mo lang talaga ay red at black? So, ibig bang sabihin nun, you are, Another item na kinonfiscate sa bahay ng mga Chamberlains years ago was a baby-sized coffin. And of course, kahit naman siguro ako makakita ng kabaong sa bahay ng iba, I mean, mawi-weirded out din ako. But, sabi ni Michael, ginamit daw niya yung coffin na yon as part of a scare tactic / anti-smoking campaign during his work as a pastor. Medyo weird, but somehow it makes sense. Kasi 'di ba nga, because we're in the middle of, naka-quarantine tayo, may kumakalat na virus. Ganito rin yung ginagawang scare tactic sa mga checkpoint, 'di ba? Earlier this year, March to June, dun sa mga checkpoint may nilalagay sila na coffin para lang sumunod yung mga tao sa regulation na bawal lumabas, may curfew, ganyan. As I've said earlier, walang mention sa korte kung ano yung pwedeng maging motibo ng mag-asawa kung bakit nila gagawin yun sa sarili nilang anak. 2 months old na baby. And marami pang rumors ang inilabas ng mga makakatayang dila. Sinabi nila na si Azaria daw has been a sickly child, na she had a disability, and that's why Lindy wanted to get rid of her, which was not true. Of course, lahat ng to chismis lang. Walang katotohanan. It wasn't proven. And until now, yung running joke na Dingo ate my baby is still hasn't died after 40 years because of the endless mentions throughout pop culture. And it became even more of a joke after the movie Evil Angels was released in 1988. It was called A Cry in the Dark outside Australia and New Zealand. It starred Meryl Streep and of course based on this entire case. And itong movie na to actually take the side of the Chamberlains. Pero this movie failed to change public's opinion about the Chamberlain family. And because nga naging running joke na sa Australia itong Dingo got my baby, some people even printed the phrase on t-shirt designs. And most probably, naging mahirap para kay Lindy yung kalimutan yung araw na yun or mag-move on because nga all over Australia, nakikita niya sa mga t-shirt, sa internet, sa lahat actually, yung phrase na yun, Dingo got my baby. And it seems like many people, and it seems like yung mga tao, nakalimutan nila that a little baby girl lost her life that day. So a week after na ma-discover yung matinee jacket ni baby Azaria, Lindy was released from prison. And after niyang ma-released sa prison, a Royal Commission inquiry was held and the original forensic evidence was examined, where some extraordinary revelations came to light. So yung fetal hemoglobin na nakita sa loob ng sasakyan ng mga Chamberlains turned out to be a deadening spray, which is basically something na ini-spray sa sasakyan during manufacturing to give them better sound insulation. And unfortunately, for the Chamberlains, it also happens to test positive for fetal hemoglobin. In fact, in 10% of this car model, the same model of the Chamberlain's car, the deadening spray was found splashed on the underside of the dashboard. Milkshake and copper dust was also found to be part of other stains that were originally thought to be blood. And yung copper stain came from the fact that Mount Isa is a copper town. Yung mga evidence ng forensic expert na si James Cameron was also re-examined, and yung small, bloody handprint, quote-unquote, he claimed was visible under the ultraviolet lights turned out to be nothing more than red dirt. And the tears on the jumpsuit were also later found to indeed be consistent with a dingo attack. Following all the findings, the administrator for the Northern Territory pardoned the Chamberlains, to which Lindy responded somewhat sarcastically. She said, quote-unquote, "Well, it's great to be pardoned for something you haven't done. As it is, the convictions stand." So yung pardon, it doesn't exactly mean that you're not guilty, but it just means that they can't prove that you did it. In 1988, all convictions against Lindy and Michael Chamberlain were finally overturned, and they were compensated $1.3 million, which mostly binayad nila sa kanilang legal fees. Despite sa pag-overturn ng lahat ng convictions ng Chamberlains, the public still consider them guilty. In 1995, a third coronial inquest was held, where the coroner concluded, quote-unquote, "The cause and manner of death is unknown." In other words, they weren't saying that a dingo killed Azaria, and they weren't saying na si Lindy yung may gawa. But, as a matter of fact, they didn't know how Azaria died, and hindi din nila kayang i-prove either way. Of course, ayaw ipin ng Northern Territory government yung nangyari sa dingo because of tourism. A fourth and final inquest was eventually held in 2012. A coroner finally ruled that a dingo was responsible for the death of Azaria Chamberlain, and a death certificate with a cause of death was finally issued to the Chamberlains, once and for all, clearing Lindy and Michael's names in the eyes of the law, at least, because still, hati pa rin ng publiko. Meron pa ring mga naniniwala na guilty si Michael at si Lindy. Since Azaria's death in 1980, there actually have been a number of dingo attacks on children, and one of them actually ended fatally. In 2001, sadly, isang 9-year-old boy was attacked and killed by a dingo in Fraser Island. It took 32 years for Azaria's death to be ruled as what Lindy had said. It was all along a dingo attack. And sadly, to this day, Azaria's remains have never been found. In 1991, Lindy and Michael divorced. And the following year, Lindy met and married an American that she had met on a speaking tour named Rick Creighton. They lived in the US for a couple of years, but soon returned to Australia, and Lindy got all three of her children, yung mga anak niya kay Michael, na si Aidan, si Reagan, at si Kalia. Over the years, sabi ni Lindy, nakatanggap daw siya ng around 40,000 letters. Most of those letters was in support of her, pero meron din na hindi. Yung iba sa mga letters na to, dinonate niya sa museum, and yung iba pang evidences related to the case. She also released a book called Through My Eyes, and in 2012, nagkaroon ng opera based doon sa nangyari that was called Lindy. In 2017, sadly, Michael Chamberlain passed away due to complications from leukemia. Until now, as I've said, hati pa rin yung opinion ng publiko. Marami parang naniniwala na guilty si Michael at si Lindy. May mga naniniwala din because nga na-acquit naman si Lindy at si Michael na it was a dingo attack. But let's not forget that a 2-month-old baby lost her life that day. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay home and stay safe. God bless you all.